come on. Let's be positive. Just stop right there. No negativity. Let's be positive. LBP. Let's be positive.
Mate, let's be positive first and foremost about the thing that we're always positive about, which is the weather. And after 6 days of freezing cold, fog, and just record minus temperatures, out comes the sun, mate. Yahoo!
Oh, late yesterday afternoon, I was cutting some wood in heavy fog, and the sun started to appear. I stood there, I put my hands in the air like I was exalting the sky, and then we've woken up this morning, and it's absolutely beautiful. 6 days of fog and hoarfrost. And I tell you, look, the images are beautiful. Yes, I agree with all of that, but not when you live here. It's all right seeing the hoarfrost images on Insta or Facebook or wherever your socials are, but when you're living in it and you can't see more than about 50 metres ahead of you, it's an absolute nightmare. But as soon as the sun comes out, joyous, we're rejoicing, we're loving life, and it's 3 degrees, feels like 1 degree, and we've got to a top of about 1 or 2 over the last 6 days.
Wow. I'm just sitting there thinking, my God, maybe I need to stop moaning about the weather so much. Let's talk league to start with, and because it's King's birthday weekend in Oz, your doggies are playing tonight, mate, Monday night footy.
Yeah, we always seem to be the last game of the weekend, regardless of whether it's Sunday night or now Monday night. But we've got those hated Parramatta Eels tonight. And I've got to be honest, I think we spank them tonight. I can't wait for this game. We will win this, and that will elevate us to, 14 points on the table, equal with the Eels and below the Knights. So we're still nowhere, Martin, but we will get a win tonight. I'm confident of this.
You must have loved watching the Wawas on Friday night, though, Matt. And I've been saying it all day during the show today. That at the Boozer, the ground was a K away from the pub that I was watching, Shapiro's up in Grafton. There, a sparse, peltry crowd again watching the Blues. When the Warriors started at 8, every screen apart from one in the pub flicked over to the Warriors. The roar was as loud as any of the tries. There was a Warriors pub, mate. But what the worry for rugby surely is, and let's be positive about it. This team's taken over Auckland. They're selling out. People are engaged. They want to watch the Warriors.
You know, I read a story in one of the papers last week that said, is New Zealand becoming a rugby league country? And I've got to be honest, with the way the Warriors are playing at the moment, and that win over the weekend against the Raiders, I think it said everything to me. I think they are contenders. I think they can do it. It was one of those games they had to win. Another top 8 side. They are competing, and they'll be right in the chase there for a preferred final come the first week of the finals, however far away they are. But look, they did it all, didn't they? They did it all. They got it done. They got the job done, and that's what they have to do. So often in the past we've said, look, they played well, they got close, but if they're going to be as competitive as they need to be come playoffs, they've got to do what they did over the weekend to the Raiders. And, Martin, I jumped on for a 13-plus victory for the Warriors at $9. Can you believe it?
That's a fantastic
what a magnificent moment at the TAB. And I couldn't have been happier with the way they just continued to build and ran away with it. So, and some good tries too. And I tell you what, how unusual was the last Sean Johnson try? An intercept on Canberra's line.
After his nose gets splayed across his face. I mean, that was the other thing, mate. Sean Johnson, I mean, the last thing you want is that beautiful face to be carved up, with some big buff head hitting it. But the photo afterwards where he's got a couple of bits of toilet paper stuffed up each nostril and a big grin on his face. Mate, I'm loving every second of this. We're 6 on the table. We're cementing that top 8. Let's talk Super Rugby, though. Did Artie score that try? You better. This is a yes or no correct answer here.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I don't think he scored it, Martin.
How good? What bloody TV were you watching, mate?
What I'm reading in the papers this morning is that he didn't score it, and that it was a sad farewell for Artie Savia. So, at the end of the day, no, He didn't score it. Did he score it? Possibly he did score it. He claims he scored it.
He said he
and
scored
he took
it.
very well after the game.
Listen, I tell you,
he scored it.
I'd believe Artie over a TMO every day of the week, wouldn't you?
I don't want to not believe him, but I have to believe what's in today's paper. He didn't score it.
Okay.
Okay? Right. So how painful is that? It's pretty painful, yes, I'm sure. The question that you need to ask yourself is this. Even if he did score it, would the Hurricanes be capable of winning this thing?
No.
Or did they lose?
Sorry, I answered that too quickly, didn't I? Sorry, I didn't answer. Sorry, I should have actually paused before saying that. Look, the reality of it is, and I was talking about this with dear leader Plunket earlier today. He said, what a great game of rugby. I said, what a load of bollocks. What game of rugby were you watching, mate? It was poor. The defence was non-existent. Every time the Brumbies got the ball, they just ran through us like we were tissue paper. And that try scored by the Hurricanes, number 6, where the right winger for the Brumbies is just gently patting his buttocks as he runs past. Mate, it was an average game made compelling by the scoreline because it was close at the end. 2 poor teams, both of which will get dicked by the Chiefs. Let's move on to the World Test Champions. And you know who I'm talking about, pal.
Oh, you know it, Martin. Absolutely cruising to victory.
Yeah.
What else do we need to say? Cruised to victory, back at the top of the world, exactly where they belong, 209-run victory. It couldn't have been sweeter. And did India ever look in it? I've got to say, I don't think they ever looked in it. And anyone that thought that with a world record target of 444 and India starting the 5th and last morning with what some people called hope at 164 for 3, I think that was just dreaming. That's the kind of thing that Hurricane fans say when they hope Artie scored. They had no hope, and in the end, the baggy green just too good, Martin. Back at the top of the world where they belong. You remember New Zealand won this thing?
Yeah.
What was that, a decade ago?
No, it was a couple of years ago, mate. They've only had 2 of these bloody things, and both of them have been won down this part of the world. The thing I like about it, let's be positive, is that both the ICC and the BCCI will be spewing here because India have had a chance to take this trophy twice. That's where the world of cricket is. That's where all the people are who are watching, and they bottled it twice.
As expected, Martin. As expected.
Okay.
As expected. As expected. Listen, it is just a tremendous cricketing nation, isn't it, India? And, you know, the amount of money.
Tremendous chokers, mate.
The generation of coverage and what they've been able to do with their 2020 competition, but just not good enough on this particular occasion.
They're not good enough with the red ball.
And it'll start to sting.
Going to hurt, but it has to, mate. I mean, it has to. Let's also talk about Le Mans. Did you watch any of the 24-hour?
No, Martin, I didn't see any of the 24 hour. I've got to say, we can't talk too deeply about the 24 hour.
But you recognise the fact that when you have $500 billion in the bank, you can not only buy the world of golf, you can also purchase a football team and turn that team from a very average Premier League side into now the champions of Europe that are unstoppable and again just cruised it like Australia did in the World Test Championship.
It's all about how much you can input to make it better, isn't it? And it's amazing what you can do when you're rich. The more you have, the more you can buy, the better you can make things for people, and the more successful you become. But a magnificent year for them, Martin. I mean, what is there to say about it, apart from will they just continue this run?
That's it, yeah.
And just keep going and going?
Well, I can't see them not, mate. This is the deal. You know, I just can't see. They've won 5 and 6 years of the titles. They, you know, and as far as the Champions League goes, Matt, they played a round of 16, a quarter, a semi, and a final. In the round of 16, they belted a team 7-0. In the quarterfinals, they beat Bayern Munich, the German champions, 3-0. In the semi-finals, they beat Real Madrid, one of the 2 best teams in Spain, 4-0. And then they beat the Italians in the final, and who never fired really a shot on goal. It was a comprehensive, easy romp to all 3 trophies is what it was.
Yeah, look, before we move on, before you dump me off for today and go on to whatever your next topic is, I've got to say I was very, very pleased. I was delighted, in fact, to see that in the world of sport and the way that things play out these days, that LIV Golf and the PGA were able to come to terms, Martin, after promoting the positivity of loyalty, of throwing the loyalty out there, of people denying themselves tens of millions, hundreds of millions, in the case of Tiger Woods, a purported $1 billion, and then all of a sudden, when things look like they couldn't get any better, the two come together to make it a deal. How does everyone feel about this? Because I was just thinking to myself, you can hold the line, hold the line, hold the line, and in the end, the people that asked you to hold the line say, get out of the trenches and run at those Turks. It's time for you to take a shot to the chest. What a bunch of hypocrites these people are. What happened? I don't care. I'm delighted.